What's up YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Today's video we're going to be wrapping up a brake job on our 2006 Nissan Xterra. In our last video we replaced the rear brakes. This time around we're going to be doing the front brake pads and rotors. Alright you guys, here we have the Xterra. I think we're going to do the front passenger side brakes just because we did the rears on the passenger side as well. This will kind of give you guys a little bit more of an apples to apples comparison of how the back brakes work and versus the front. But with that said, let's get this wheel off, lift the truck, and get to the brake installation. Alright, so at this point what we want to do is we want to turn the wheel so that way the brake rotor is kind of facing us. This will just help us to better remove the caliper bracket and the brake pads. Alright, now that we have the rotor turned, let's go ahead and come over here. So what we want to remove is we want to remove these bolts that are holding on the actual caliper to the caliper bracket. And then after we remove this, we're going to remove the caliper bracket itself. Alright, now that we have taken off the actual caliper, I'm going to go ahead and set it right here on the control arm to prevent it from damaging this brake line here. So now it's time to remove the rotor. This is usually the fun part. They don't always want to come out very easy. Hopefully it will be easy though, so let's get to it. Oh man, that was too easy. Okay, once you have your rotor off, all you want to do now is you want to take your new rotor, which I have right here. You want to take your old rotor, you want to compare them. You want to make sure that they're like the same in thickness, diameter, as well as the lug nuts. Alright, so with your new rotor, normally what you want to do is you want to wipe this down with some brake cleaner and a rag or a paper towel. In my case, I actually have this special one which has this Z-clad coating on it, and this Z-clad will actually be removed by the friction pad. So in my particular case, I don't have to do an extra step, but for you guys, brake clean and a paper towel. Alright, so the next step is to go ahead and take that caliper bracket, and as you can see here, mine actually came out with the brake pads, which is pretty cool. All we want to do is we want to just remove these pads, take off these old clips. The brake pad kit that I got actually comes with all new hardware. So before we actually get back onto installing this bracket, what you want to do is you want to take these guide pins and you want to just pull them out. Double check that they're nice and greased. In my case they are, so I'm not going to go ahead and add any new grease. But if yours needs some, go ahead and add some, and from there you can go ahead and install it. Alright, so to make installing your caliper bracket a lot simpler, go ahead and take a couple lug nuts and then just screw them on to the rotor. That way it gets the rotor nice and straight, and it'll make the caliper bracket going on a little bit easier. From there, take your bolts and then just add some thread locker to it. This will help prevent it from loosening up with any kind of vibrations as you're driving down the road. So once you have that caliper bracket mounted on there, what you want to do is you want to take a torque wrench and you want to torque these down to the appropriate specifications. In my particular case, it's going to be 65 foot-pounds. So once that clicks, that's how you know the rating has been met. Alright, so moving right along, the next thing to do is to compress these cylinders back in. Now in order to do that, I need to go up into the hood and pop off that master cylinder cap, because as we push these back in, it's going to push the fluid up the line and back up to the reservoir. So let me go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so to push these guys back in, what you want to do is you want to take an old brake pad like this guy. You want to take a C-clamp. You're going to use that brake pad to push against these pistons, and that will in turn push these guys back in. Okay, so once you have your brake cylinders pushed in back all the way, what you want to do is you want to kind of set it back gently into place, and you want to take your screw and you want to screw on the top piece. What this is going to do is it's going to help it to just kind of stay in place, but also it will kind of act like a clamshell, so that way you can open it, insert all of your brake components, and then tighten it back up. Alright, so once you're ready to install your brake pads, you want to go ahead and grab these little clips. These guys just go ahead and clip on right before your brake pads are actually installed. Alright, so once you have your clips in, you want to take your brake pads and you want to go ahead and make sure that this little ear just falls into this small channel. And that is pretty much it. There's one. Might need to wiggle them in a little bit. That's it. Alright, so now you can go ahead and close this brake caliper and take your last screw. I remember where I put it. Alright, and that's pretty much it. The only thing left now to do is to put the wheel back on. Alright you guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't seen the previous video on the rear brake pads and rotors, I would appreciate it if you guys check that out. Also consider liking and subscribing if you guys thought this video was useful, helpful, or you guys liked it in any way. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.